In Matthew 16:27, Jesus describes his second coming to his disciples with these words: "The Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works." Then Jesus continues with this statement: "Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." So Jesus' kingdom, which we refer to as the millennium, clearly follows the second coming of Jesus Christ. These verses confirm the doctrine of the premillennial return of Christ, which is indisputably taught throughout the Scriptures. But since the second coming and the kingdom reign of Christ haven't yet happened in our lifetimes, how could Jesus say, "There be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom"? Everyone standing there died in the first century. The answer to that question is found in the next verse. "And after 6 days Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into an high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them." The first word, "and," grammatically ties the transfiguration of Jesus to his previous statement. The words "after 6 days" chronologically tie the transfiguration of Jesus to his previous statement. And the mention of Peter, James, and John logistically ties the account of Jesus' transfiguration to "there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." This same sequence of details is given in Mark 9:1 and 2, and in Luke 9:27 and 28. The transfiguration of Jesus was the transformation of Jesus' physical appearance from looking like every other descendant of Adam, as Isaiah described him, "When we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him," to his glorious appearance as God the Son when he returns. "The Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father." And the purpose of this great mountaintop experience for Jesus' key disciples, Peter, James, and John, was to give them a glimpse of who their master is and where he was taking them. Jesus had told his disciples that he would be arrested, tried, and executed, and that after 3 days he would rise from the dead. Peter pulled Jesus aside and rebuked him for saying such things. Jesus responded to Peter by rebuking him for desiring his own agenda instead of God's. Jesus then spoke to all of his disciples, telling them, and us, what it means to truly follow Jesus. "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." Jesus then proceeded to turn their eyes from temporal pursuits to eternal values, giving his disciples a brief summary of his long-term plan. About a week later, Jesus invited 3 of his key disciples to hike up a mountain with him so that he could give them a first-hand glimpse of himself as King of Kings. After they had reached the top of the mountain, Peter and James and John watched in complete amazement as their master, who they loved and respected, was completely transformed from the man they knew and loved to the glorious King of the universe. Their mouths hung open as they beheld Jesus' face suddenly shining with the brightness of the sun, and his clothes as if he was clothed in light. As the 3 disciples stood there absolutely frozen with awe, 2 strangers suddenly appeared out of nowhere. And actually, somehow, they all recognized these strangers. It was Moses and Elijah. What was happening? Peter couldn't hold back anymore. His heart was overflowing. He said, "Lord, this is amazing. I don't want to leave. Let's just stay here. We can build a tabernacle for you, and another one for Moses, and another one for Elijah." Peter hadn't yet finished talking when suddenly the brightest cloud they had ever seen filled the skies overhead. And as the eyes of the disciples turned upward, trying to take it all in, they heard a powerful voice, a voice that sounded like many waters, speaking from the cloud, declaring, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him." Peter, James, and John couldn't take it anymore. They collapsed to the ground, lying on their faces in fear. Few people who have ever lived could possibly understand the thoughts and the emotions that were overwhelming these three young men as they lay there scared to death. But their fears melted away when they felt the human touch of the Master they knew and loved, and heard his familiar voice say, "Arise, and be not afraid." When they looked up, everything was as it was before, and they saw Jesus only. Christian, Jesus will return to this earth to reign in his glorious kingdom for 1,000 years. Stay the course.